This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, all of you. So, in the brainstem, first medulla oblongata, next pons, and third one is midbrain. So, midbrain, also called mesencephalon, is upper shortest segment of the brainstem, connects the hindbrain with forebrain. So, midbrain, also called mesencephalon, upper shortest segment of brainstem, connects the hindbrain with forebrain. In this picture, this is the cell section of the cerebellum, brainstem, and corpus callosum, seen from medial view. In this picture, this is the midbrain, and this is the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata. And here, this is the fourth ventricle, and this is the cerebellum, right? So, upper shortest segment of brainstem connects the hindbrain with forebrain. Cavity of the midbrain is called cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. In this picture, this is the lateral ventricles. Lateral ventricles communicate with the third ventricle by means of foramen of Monro or interventricular foramen. Third ventricle communicate with fourth ventricle by cerebral aqueduct. This is the cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. So cavity of the midbrain is called cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. So midbrain contains nuclei of origin of cranial nerves, namely third nerve and fourth nerve. Third nerve is oculomotor and fourth nerve is trochlear nerve. So midbrain contains origin of cranial nerves, nuclei of origin of cranial nerves. These are called third nerve and fourth nerve. Third nerve and fourth nerve. So third nerve is situated at the level of superior colliculus. This is a third nerve nuclei, otherwise called oculomotor nucleus. So oculomotor nucleus is situated at the level of superior colliculus. So fourth nerve trochlear nucleus is situated at the level of inferior colliculus. Inferior colliculus. So midbrain passing through tentorial notch. Midbrain passing through tentorial notch. In this picture, this is the tentorial notch. Tentorial notch. So this is interior of the skull, intact with here tentorium cerebelli. It is a jural fold. Tentorium cerebelli. Jural fold. So tentorium cerebelli here. This is a free margin, and this is a posterior attached margin. Posterior attached margin. So anterior free margin here, this is the tentorial notch. Tentorial notch. So midbrain passing through tentorial notch. So tentorial notch is nothing but between the anterior ends of tentorium cerebelli. This is anterior end and this is the posterior end. So between the two ends, this is the tentorial notch. Here is schematic picture, and this is the original picture. Here identify this is the optic nerves, and this is internal carotid arteries, and this is a pituitary gland. Pituitary gland. Here you can identify this is the midbrain. Midbrain. So these are the anterior ends of tentorium cerebrale. Between the two anterior ends, this is called tentorial notch. Tentorial notch. So midbrain passing through tentorial notch. And next, midbrain relations. Relations of midbrain anteriorly. This is the midbrain anteriorly related to interpeduncular structures. So midbrain relations are anteriorly, posteriorly, on each side. Anteriorly, posteriorly, and each side. Right? So first we discuss the anterior relations of midbrain. So in this picture, this is the base of the brain, particularly interpeduncular fossa, seen from inferior view. So in this picture, these are the crus cerebri. Crus cerebri is a part of the midbrain, right? So midbrain anteriorly related to interpeduncular structures. So all of you know the interpeduncular fossa. Interpeduncular fossa is situated in the base of the brain. Between the two cerebral peduncles. Interpeduncular fossa anteriorly bounded by optic chiasma, anterolaterally optic tract, posterolaterally crus cerebri, and posteriorly upper border of the pons. So interpeduncular fossa here, anteriorly optic chiasma, anterolaterally optic tract, posterolaterally crus cerebri, and posteriorly upper border of the pons. So midbrain anteriorly related to interpeduncular structures. So interpeduncular structures are anteriorly here. Identify these are the two mammillary bodies. In front of mammillary bodies, this is tuber cinereum. So midbrain anteriorly related to mammillary bodies and tuber cinereum. This is the original picture. So here this is interpeduncular fossa. So interpeduncular fossa anteriorly bounded by optic chiasma. This cursor showing optic chiasma. Anterolaterally optic tract. Posterolaterally crus cerebri. These are the two cerebral peduncles. Anteriorly here crus cerebri. Posteriorly upper border of the pons. This is the pons, upper border of the pons. These are the interpeduncular fossa boundaries. So interpeduncular fossa frequently asking for 4 marks question. So in that 4 marks question, interpeduncular fossa situated in the base of the brain, boundaries and contents. Contents are mammillary bodies, tuber cinereum, and here this is called posterior perforated substance. Posterior perforated substance. This posterior perforated substance is pierced by perforating branches of posterior cerebral arteries. Perforating branches of posterior cerebral arteries. So this is the midbrain. So midbrain anteriorly bounded by interpeduncular structures, mammillary bodies and tubercinarium. Right? Next. Posteriorly, this is the midbrain. Posteriorly is related to pineal body, and great cerebral vein of Galen, and third one splenium of corpus callosum. Posteriorly, midbrain is related to pineal body, great cerebral vein of Galen, and splenium of corpus callosum. Splenium of corpus callosum. These three forms the posterior relation of midbrain. Next, on each side. Each side, midbrain on each side related to here. This is the midbrain. This is the midbrain. On each side related to here, posterior cerebral arteries, posterior cerebral arteries, posterior cerebral arteries, and optic tract and basal vein. Basal vein. So each side related to posterior cerebral artery, optic tract, basal vein, and fourth one parahippocampal gyrus. Parahippocampal gyrus. This is a parahippocampal gyrus. We see in the base of the brain or inferior surface of the brain. So midbrain on each side related to posterior cerebral artery, optic tract, basal veins. These are the two basal veins unite to form here great cerebral vein of Galen. And next, parahippocampal gyrus. So that's about the relations of midbrain. So anteriorly, interpeduncular structures. Posteriorly, pineal body, great cerebral vein of Galen, and splenium of corpus callosum. On each side, parahippocampal gyrus, basal vein, posterior cerebral artery, and optic tract. Right? That's about the relations of midbrain. And next, external features. So midbrain contains two surfaces called ventral surface and dorsal surface. So ventral surface presents crura cerebri. Crura cerebri is plural, crus cerebri is singular. Crura cerebri. These are the crus cerebri. Crus cerebri. This crus cerebri forms the posterolateral boundary of interpeduncular fossa. Crus cerebri forms the posterolateral boundaries of interpeduncular fossa. Interpeduncular fossa. Right? So this is a crus cerebri. Here brownish whitish color, crus cerebri. On the medial part of crus cerebri or medial aspect of crus cerebri, identify this nerve is called oculomotor nerve. So oculomotor nerve appears on medial aspect of crus cerebri. And fourth nerve, trochlear nerve, appears on lateral aspect of crus cerebri. So this is the ventral surface of brainstem from below upwards, middle oblongata, pons, and midbrain. So these are the crus cerebri, medial aspect, oculomotor nerve, lateral aspect, trochlear nerve. Right? Next. This ventral surface is crossed by from above downwards. ventral surface of midbrain contains crus cerebri. This crus cerebri traversed or transversely crossed by from above downwards optic tract, basal vein, posterior cerebral artery, and superior cerebellar artery. So crus cerebri transversely crossed by above downwards. Transversely means above downwards, is crossed by optic tract. This is the optic tract, and basal vein, blue color. Posterior cerebral artery, red color here. These are the terminal branches of basilar artery, right? So, and fourth one, superior cerebellar artery. Superior cerebellar artery. Superior cerebellar artery. So, transversely crossed by 4 structures from above onwards. Let's end about the ventral surface of midbrain. So, third nerve appears on medial side, fourth nerve appears on lateral side. Dorsal surface. Dorsal surface of midbrain contains 4 colliculi, 2 superior colliculi, 2 inferior colliculi. These 2 are superior colliculi. These 2 are inferior colliculi. 2 superior colliculi, 2 inferior colliculi, together called corpora quadrigemina. So what is meant by corpora quadrigemina means 2 superior colliculi and 2 inferior colliculi, collectively known as corpora quadrigemina. Corpora quadrigemina. So corpora quadrigemina. So between the 2 superior colliculi and 2 inferior colliculi, identify this sulcus is called cruciform sulcus. Cruciform sulcus. So cruciform sulcus between the 2 superior and 2 inferior colliculi. Cruciform sulcus, right? This cruciform sulcus above forms a surface depression. The surface depression lodges the pineal gland. This is the pineal gland, pineal body, right? And below continuous with frenulum veli. Frenulum veli. Cruciform sulcus below continuous with frenulum veli. Frenulum veli. So frenulum veli is a frenulum veli. And identify this is superior medullary velum. Superior medullary. Superior medullary velum is nothing but it is a lamina of white matter stretches between the 2 superior cerebellar peduncles. 2 superior cerebellar peduncles. So superior medullary velum, midline contain one white line is called frenulum veli. Frenulum veli. This frenulum veli is nothing but downward continuation of cruciform sulcus. Frenulum veli. So this is the dorsal surface of midbrain. Dorsal surface of midbrain contains 2 superior colliculi, 2 inferior colliculi. Between the colliculi is separated by one sulcus called cruciform sulcus. Above depression lodges the pineal body. Below cruciform sulcus continuous with frenulum veli. Frenulum veli. So dorsal surface 4 rounded elevations, 2 superior colliculi, 2 inferior colliculi. These 4 together called corpora quadrigemina. This is a cruciform sulcus. Above surface depression lodges the pineal body. Below continuous with frenulum veli. Below forms a frenulum veli. Appears on dorsal aspect of superior medullary velum. And next, superior brachium and inferior brachium. In this picture, this is the posterolateral view of midbrain, thalamus, and pulvinar, posterior end of thalamus, pineal body, right? 2 superior colliculi, 2 inferior colliculi. Superior brachium. This is the superior brachium. Superior brachium connects the superior colliculus with lateral geniculate body. This is a lateral geniculate body. So lateral geniculate body and superior colliculus is connected by superior brachium. The superior brachium contains optic fibers. Inferior brachium. In this picture, this is inferior brachium. Inferior brachium. So inferior brachium connects the inferior colliculus to medial geniculate body. Contains auditory fibers. In this picture, superior and inferior brachium. This is a lateral geniculate body, superior colliculus. Superior brachium connects the lateral geniculate body to superior colliculus. Inferior brachium connects the medial geniculate body to inferior colliculus. So superior brachium contains optic fibers, inferior brachium contains auditory fibers. And that's about the external features. External features are ventral surface and dorsal surface, right? And next, subdivisions. Subdivisions of midbrain. This is the superior view of midbrain, cross section of the midbrain seen from superior view. So coronal plane passing across the middle part of cerebral aqueduct divides the midbrain into anterior part and posterior part. Coronal plane passing across the middle aspect of cerebral aqueduct. This is the cerebral aqueduct, white color. So this coronal plane divides the midbrain into anterior part and posterior part. So smaller posterior part and larger anterior part. Smaller posterior part is called tectum and larger anterior part called cerebral peduncle. Cerebral peduncle. The cerebral peduncle contains from anterior to posterior crus cerebri, substantia nigra, and tegmentum. So cerebral peduncle parts are crus cerebri, substantia nigra, and tegmentum. So tectum and cerebral peduncle. These are the subdivisions of midbrain. Right? So smaller posterior part called tectum, larger anterior part called cerebral peduncle. The cerebral peduncle from anterior to posterior, crus cerebri, substantia nigra, and tegmentum. That's about the external features and internal features next. So internal features are one by one. Crus cerebri. First we discuss the cerebral peduncle. So cerebral peduncle, crus cerebri, substantia nigra, and tegmentum. So crus cerebri. So crus cerebri, this is the crus cerebri. So anterior part of cerebral peduncle. So crus cerebri, it is anterior part of cerebral peduncle. This crus cerebri forms the posterolateral boundary of interpeduncular fossa. This crus cerebri is traversed by fibers arranged from cerebral cortex to spinal cord and mostly descending tracts here, and identify here crus cerebri. So crus cerebri medial 1/3 contains frontopontine fibers, medial 1/3, and middle 2/3 contains corticospinal fibers and corticonuclear fibers, and lateral 1/6 contains temporopontine, paritopontine, and occipitopontine fibers. So crus cerebri is anterior part of cerebral peduncle. It forms the posterolateral boundary of interpeduncular fossa. It is mainly made up of descending tracts arise from the cerebral cortex. So medial 1/6 contains frontopontine fibers. Middle 2/3 contains corticospinal and corticonuclear fibers, and lateral 1/6 contains temporopontine, paretopontine, and occipitopontine fibers. Right? And next, substantia nigra. So substantia nigra, it is a pigmented gray matter, is situated on anterolateral or ventrolateral aspect of tegmentum. Ventrolateral aspect of tegmentum. So this is the tegmentum and this is the crus cerebri. So substantia nigra, it is a pigmented gray matter situated between tegmentum and crus cerebri. Between the tegmentum and crus cerebri. The substantia nigra is made up of two layers, anteriorly pars reticularis, posteriorly pars compacta. Anteriorly pars reticularis, posteriorly pars compacta. So the substantia nigra contains melanin and iron. So the substantia nigra contains melanin and iron. So substantia nigra, it is a pigmented gray matter situated between tegmentum and crus cerebri. Parts are anteriorly pars reticularis, posteriorly pars compacta. So ventral part pars reticularis, dorsal part pars compacta. Let's talk about the substantia nigra. And next, so cross section at the level of inferior colliculus. Here, so internal features are crus cerebri and substantia nigra. Crus cerebri and substantia nigra parts are same at the level of superior colliculus and inferior colliculus, but tegmentum and tectum, these are different in superior and inferior colliculus levels. So first we discuss the cross section at the level of inferior colliculus. In this picture, transverse section of the midbrain seen from superior view. This is anterior, this is posterior. These are the lateral aspects, right? And next, here this is the crus cerebri and this is the substantia nigra. Substantia nigra. Here this is the central gray matter and this is the white matter. White matter, right? So first identify this is the cerebral aqueduct, and this is a gray matter and white matter, right? So crus cerebri, substantia nigra. So in this picture, identify, first we discuss the gray matter and next white matter. So gray matter contains nucleus called trochlear nerve nucleus. So in the gray matter, trochlear nerve nucleus. Trochlear nerve nucleus. This trochlear nerve nucleus situated in gray matter, posterior to the medial longitudinal fasciculus. Posterior to the medial longitudinal fasciculus. Trochlear nerve arises from trochlear nerve nucleus, passing on each side of gray matter, and appears on dorsal aspect of gray matter, decussate in superior medullary velum, and finally appears on lateral aspect of midbrain, appears on lateral aspect of crus cerebri, and enters into cavernous sinus, lateral wall, and supplies the lateral rectus. All of you know lateral rectus supplied by trochlear nerve. So trochlear nerve nucleus is situated in midbrain at the level of inferior colliculus. So inferior colliculus contains trochlear nerve nucleus. So trochlear nerve fibers arise from trochlear nerve nucleus, appears on lateral aspect of gray matter, decussate in superior medullary velum and lateral aspect of midbrain and lateral aspect of crus cerebri, and enters into lateral wall of cavernous sinus and supplies the lateral rectus muscle. It is the only cranial nerve appears on dorsal aspect of brain stem, right? Let's say about the trochlear nerve nucleus. And second, mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve. Mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve appears on inferior colliculus level, situated in the lateral aspect of gray matter. Lateral aspects of gray matter. Trochlear nerve nucleus, anterior aspect of gray matter. Mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve appears on lateral aspects of gray matter. It receives the proprioceptive impulses from muscles of mastication and facial expression. So proprioceptive impulses from muscles of mastication and muscles of facial expression. So mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve, right? And nucleus of inferior colliculus. Nucleus of inferior colliculus. Beneath the inferior colliculus, a band of gray matter forms the nucleus of inferior colliculus. So collection of the neurons situated beneath the inferior colliculus to form the nucleus of inferior colliculus. This is a nucleus of inferior colliculus. So connections of inferior colliculus. This is the schematic picture. In this diagram, superior colliculus, inferior colliculus. So inferior colliculus receives afferents from lateral lemniscus. Receives afferents from lateral lemniscus and give afferents to medial geniculate body. Give afferents to medial geniculate body. Give afferents to medial geniculate body. Here is a medial geniculate body. These are the afferents. So inferior colliculus. This is the inferior colliculus, right? And here is the superior colliculus. So inferior colliculus receives afferents from lateral lemniscus. This is a lateral lemniscus, yellow color, lateral lemniscus, and give efferents to medial geniculate body, and some fibers terminates in contralateral inferior colliculus. Some fibers terminates in contralateral inferior colliculus. This is the opposite inferior colliculus. Identify these arrows shows the some fibers terminates in opposite inferior colliculus, and also project into superior colliculus of same side. This is the superior colliculus. Some fibers project into superior colliculus of same side. These are the connections of inferior colliculus. So inferior colliculus, this is inferior colliculus. Underneath here, nucleus of inferior colliculus. Nucleus of inferior colliculus, right? And next, reticular formation. Identify here, this is a reticular formation. Reticular formation, right? Let's send about the gray matter at the level of inferior colliculus. And next, white matter. In the white matter, identify here decussation of superior cerebellar peduncles. Decussation of superior cerebellar peduncles. Decussation of superior cerebellar peduncle. So posterior to the decussation of superior cerebellar peduncle, identify this is the tectospinal tract. Anterior to the superior cerebellar peduncle, rubrospinal tract. So rubrospinal tract in front of superior cerebellar peduncles, tectospinal tract posterior to the decussation of superior cerebellar peduncles. Next, so ventrolateral aspect of tegmentum contains four lemnisci. Four lemnisci from medial to lateral, medial, trigeminal, spinal, and lateral. Ventrolateral part of tegmentum contains four lemnisci from medial to lateral, medial, trigeminal, spinal, and lateral lemniscus. Here, identify this is a lateral lemnisci. Lateral lemnisci. Lateral lemnisci ends at the level of inferior colliculus. So lateral lemnisci ends at the level of inferior colliculus. So lateral lemnisci only situated at the level of inferior colliculus, right? Lateral lemnisci. So medial longitudinal fasciculus or medial longitudinal bundle is present the medial longitudinal fasciculus or medial longitudinal bundle is situated between the trochlear nerve nucleus and tectospinal tract. So medial longitudinal bundle. So these are the connections of inferior colliculus. Lesions to the inferior colliculus or lesions of inferior colliculus are defects in appreciation of tones and localization of sound and reflex movement in response to sound. Lesions are defects in appreciation of the tone, localization of sound, and reflex movements in response to sound. Next, cross section at the level of superior colliculus. Cross section at the level of superior colliculus. So cross section at the level of superior colliculus, cerebral aqueduct, central gray matter, and white matter. Same here, crus cerebri, substantia nigra. So here central gray matter, central gray matter. So central gray matter contains oculomotor nucleus, oculomotor nuclear complex or oculomotor nucleus. So oculomotor nucleus. So oculomotor nucleus is situated in central gray matter anterior to the cerebral aqueduct. So oculomotor nerve arises from oculomotor nucleus and passing through red nucleus and appears on medial aspect of crus cerebri and passing through lateral and lateral wall of cavernous sinus and enters into orbit through superior orbital fissure and supplies the extraocular muscles, right? So oculomotor nerve arises from oculomotor nucleus, passing through red nucleus, appears on medial aspect of crus cerebri and supplies the extraocular muscles of eyeball except lateral rectus and superior oblique. Right? And here identify oculomotor nucleus, and also here oculomotor nuclear complex contains Edinger-Westphal nucleus. This Edinger-Westphal nucleus otherwise called accessory oculomotor nucleus. Accessory oculomotor nucleus, right? This Edinger-Westphal nucleus, fibers arise from Edinger-Westphal nucleus and supplies the sphincter pupillae and ciliaris muscle. Let's understand about the oculomotor nuclear complex. Similarly, mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve appears on lateral aspects of central gray matter. Similarly, receives the proprioceptive impulses from muscles of mastication and facial expression. Right? Next. Oculomotor nucleus with Edinger-Westphal nucleus, mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal nerve, and nucleus of superior colliculus. nucleus of superior colliculus. This nucleus of superior colliculus beneath the superior colliculi. These are the connections of superior colliculus. Here the schematic picture, superior colliculus. Superior colliculus. Afferent fibers are received from retina via spinal cord, and also inferior colliculus. So superior colliculus, afferent fibers from retina, spinal cord, and inferior colliculus. And give afferent fibers forms the tectospinal tract. So afferents to in superior colliculus are retina, spinal cord, inferior colliculus, and afferent fibers forms the tectospinal tract. Right? And pretectal nucleus. Identify here. This is the pretectal nucleus. So pretectal nucleus is situated in white matter, is responsible for pupillary light reflex. Pretectal nucleus is responsible for pupillary light reflex. Right? Next, most important one, red nucleus. Identify here. This is a red nucleus. So red nucleus is oval in shape, is 0.5 centimeter in diameter. This red nucleus receives afferents from cerebello-rubral. Afferent fibers are cerebello-rubral, cortico-rubral, and pallidorubral. This is once again schematic picture. So red nucleus is situated at the level of superior colliculus of midbrain. This is a red nucleus situated at the level of superior colliculi. Connections are afferents and efferents. This is a red nucleus, thalamus, and basal nuclei, cerebral cortex, right? Dentate nucleus situated in cerebellum. First, so red nucleus receives afferents from cerebello-rubral. Cerebello-rubral means cerebellum to red nucleus, right? Cerebello-rubral. This is the dentate nucleus. Cerebello-rubral fibers arise from dentate nucleus and terminates in red nucleus. These cerebello-rubral fibers passing through superior cerebellar peduncle. Superior cerebellar peduncle contains cerebello-rubral fibers. And next, cortico-rubral fibers. Red nucleus receives fibers from cerebral cortex, area number 4 and 6, cortico-rubral, and pallidorubral. So red nucleus receives fibers from globus pallidus. That's why pallidorubral, globus pallidorubral. And efferents are rubrospinal, red nucleus to spinal cord, rubrobulbar, and rubroreticular, and rubro-olivary. So connections of red nucleus: cerebello-rubral, cortico-rubral, pallidorubral. Efferents are rubrospinal, rubrobulbar, rubroreticular, rubro-olivary. So red nucleus frequently asking for 4 marks question. So red nucleus, what is meant by red nucleus? So red nucleus is a layer of mass of gray matter situated at the level of superior colliculus of midbrain, 0.5 centimeter in diameter, and red nucleus receives afferents from cerebellum, receives afferents from cerebral cortex, receives afferents from globus pallidus, and afferents to spinal cord, reticular formation, inferior liver nucleus, and rubro-bulbar fibers, right? Nuclei of the brainstem, rubro-bulbar, right? And next, so that's it about the gray matter at the level of superior colliculus. So gray matter contains oculomotor nucleus with Edinger-Westphal nucleus, mesencephalic nucleus of trigeminal ulna, nucleus of superior colliculus, pretectal nucleus, and red nucleus. On white matter, dorsal tegmental decussation is formed by tectospinal and tectobulbar tracts. Dorsal tegmental decussation. This is a dorsal tegmental decussation. This is a tegmentum. Dorsal tegmental decussation is formed by tectospinal and tectobulbar tracts. Ventral tegmental decussation is formed by rubrospinal tracts. Rubrospinal. So dorsal tegmental decussation and ventral tegmental decussation, right? Here, so 3 lemnisci is situated on ventrolateral to the tegmentum. Ventrolateral to the tegmentum. These are medial, trigeminal, and spinal lemniscus. So medial, trigeminal, spinal lemniscus. Lateral lemnisci does not appear on this level. So lateral lemnisci is only situated at the level of inferior colliculus. So ventral tegmental decussation, dorsal tegmental decussation, and next one medial longitudinal fasciculus. So lemnisci are arranged in ventrolateral part of tegmentum. Lemnisci arranged in the ventrolateral part of tegmentum, right? That's it about the two sections of midbrain. So one section at the level of inferior colliculus, one section at the level of superior colliculus, right? Blood supply of the midbrain. So midbrain is supplied by posterior cerebral and superior cerebellar arteries. Posterior cerebral and superior cerebellar arteries. In this picture, this is a cross section of the midbrain. So we have the posterior cerebral arteries, and superior cerebellar arteries. Superior cerebellar artery and posterior cerebral artery supplies the midbrain, and also supplied by branches arise from posterior communicating and anterior choroidal. Branches arise from posterior communicating and anterior choroidal arteries, right? And lastly, clinical anatomy, Weber syndrome. So Weber syndrome is due to the occlusion of posterior cerebral arteries. So Weber syndrome is mainly due to the occlusion of posterior cerebral arteries. So posterior cerebral artery supplies the midbrain. Occlusion of these arteries leads to the Weber syndrome. In this Weber syndrome, third nerve and crus cerebri are involved. Third nerve, this is a third nerve, and crus cerebri are involved in Weber syndrome. Symptoms are ipsilateral squint and contralateral hemiplegia. Ipsilateral squint and contralateral hemiplegia. And next, this is an area involved in Weber syndrome. Medial part of crus cerebri and oculomotor nerve, third nerve, oculomotor, right? And second clinical condition is Benedict's syndrome. So in this Benedict syndrome is once again vascular ischemia of tegmentum of midbrain. Vascular ischemia of tegmentum of midbrain. Vascular ischemia of tegmentum of midbrain. In this Benedict syndrome, medial lemniscus, spinal lemniscus, red nucleus, and third nerve are involved. So medial lemniscus, spinal lemniscus, red nucleus, and third nerve all involved in Benedict syndrome. Symptoms are ipsilateral squint and ptosis. Ipsilateral squint and ptosis are symptoms are Benedict's syndrome. This is the area involved in Benedict syndrome, right? Next, Peyronie's syndrome. Peyronie's syndrome. So Peyronie's syndrome, otherwise called dorsal midbrain syndrome. Dorsal midbrain syndrome. So mostly tectum is infected due to the tumors affected in pineal body. Tumors affected in pineal body. Due to the tumors, this area is involved. That is tectum, tectum of midbrain. This Peyronie's syndrome. Peyronie's syndrome. So area involved in Weber syndrome, medial part of crus cerebri and oculomotor nerve. Area involved in Benedict syndrome, red nucleus, oculomotor nerve, medial lemniscus. Area involved in Peyronie's syndrome, tectum, right? Next, Argyll-Robertson pupil, all of you know. Normally pupils do not react here. Pupils do not react to light. Pupil react briskly with accommodation. In Argyll-Robertson pupil here, light reflex, light reflex is lost and accommodation reflex is intact. Light reflex is lost, accommodation reflex is intact in Argyll-Robertson pupil, right? These are the four clinical aspects of midbrain. This is the original picture from the museum here. Identify here these optic nerves relate to form optic chiasma, optic tract, and this is a cross section of the midbrain. Here is the cerebral aqueduct, right? So, and these two are inferior colliculi. Identify here. So, two superior colliculi, two inferior colliculi. Two superior colliculi, two inferior colliculi. So, this is the superior brachium. And this is a lateral geniculate body. Here medial geniculate body. So two superior colliculi, two inferior colliculi. These four together called corpora. Quadrigemina. Identify this sulcus is called cruciform sulcus. So superior brachium, inferior brachium. Superior brachium connects the lateral geniculate body. Superior brachium connects the lateral geniculate body to superior colliculus. Inferior brachium connects the medial geniculate body with inferior colliculus, right? And I play the gross anatomical video of base of the brain and also parts of the midbrain.
Not audible, sir.
Pardon? Hello?
Not audible, sir. Not audible, sir.
One second.
Not audible, sir.
Above the inferior folliculi, utrophia nucleus, or the lateral outflow, consent in the anthropoid. Superior brachium passes from the superior folliculus to the lateral geniculate body and to the optic tract. The inferior brachium connects the inferior folliculus to the medial geniculate body. On the anterior aspect of the midbrain, there is a deep which is bounded on either side by the closed surface. Small blood vessels perforate the floor of the region called the posterior perforated substance. The oculomotor nerve emerges from the groove on the medial side of the crus cerebri and passes forward to the lateral wall of the sinus. On the cross section of the midbrain, you can distinguish two lateral halves, the cerebral peduncles. A pigmented band of green matter, the substantia nigra, divides each half into an anterior part, crus cerebri, and posterior part, tegmentum. In the center of the midbrain is the narrow canal cerebral aqueduct, surrounded by the central gray matter, here. The part of the midbrain posterior to the cerebral aqueduct is the septum with two superior and two inferior colliculi, and suprasymphypal. Between the cerebral aqueduct and the substantia nigra, there is a red nucleus, a rounded mass of gray matter, which looks reddish due to its vascularity. Let's review the main structures here. Crus cerebri, interpedunclar fossa, posterior perforated substance, oculomotor nerve, septum, radical groove, transverse groove, superior colliculi, inferior colliculi, superior brachia, inferior brachia, trochlear nerve, substantia nigra, crus cerebri, tegmentum, septum, cerebral aqueduct, central gray matter, red nucleus. Crus cerebri, interpedunclar fossa, posterior perforated substance, oculomotor nerve, septum, radical groove, transverse groove, superior colliculi, inferior colliculi, superior brachia, inferior brachia, trochlear nerve, substantia nigra, crus cerebri, tegmentum, septum.
We'll discuss about the details present on a cross-section of midbrain at the level of superior colliculi, which are involved in visual reflexes. Anterior to the superior colliculi on the midline, we have the cerebral aqueduct of Sylvius. This structure is surrounded by the periaqueductal gray matter. are the crus cerebri, located in the anterolateral part of the midbrain, and the tegmentum mesencephaly, which is located in between tectum and crus cerebri. Just anterior to the motor nerve. Dorsal to these nuclei are the accessory oculomotor nuclei of Edinger-Westphal, which contains parasympathetic neurons. The motor and parasympathetic fibers of those nuclei go anterior, exit the midbrain, and the oculomotor nerves. We can see the emergence of oculomotor nerve from the midbrain at the level of interpedicular fossa, which is bounded on either side by crus cerebri. Anterior to the oculomotor nucleus, we can see the medial longitudinal fasciculus, which has the purpose to integrate the movements of the eyes and head. Thus, it interconnects the three cranial nerves involved in eye movements, as well as the vestibulocochlear nerve. Just anterior to the superior colliculus are the petectal nuclei, which are a group of nuclei involved in pupillary light reflex. This group of nuclei is interconnected with the Edinger-Westphal nuclei on both sides. Lateral to the periaqueductal gray matter, we have the mesencephalic trigenital nucleus. Keep in mind that the cerebral truncle, by most classifications, is everything in the midbrain except the tectum. The cerebral truncle is divided to an anterior part called crus cerebri and the posterior part tegmentum mesencephaly. This division is done by the substantia nigra, which is present throughout the midbrain. The dorsal layer of the substantia nigra consists of the pars compacta, groups of closely packed pigmented neurons. The pigmented granules that gradually accumulate to these cells in early life are a byproduct of the synthesis of the neurotransmitter dopamine. The ventral layer of the substantia nigra consists of the pars reticulata, which contains scattered non-pigmented neurons. These neurons use GABA as their inhibitory neurotransmitter. Central to the substantia nigra, of course, we have the crus cerebri. The crus cerebri contains parieto-temporal pontine fibers in its lateral part, frontopontine fibers in its medial part, and corticospinal and corticonuclear fibers in its mid-part. In the lateral part of the tegmentum, we have the medial meniscus, closely related with the spinal meniscus and trigeminal meniscus. Posteromedial to the substantia nigra, we have the red nucleus, which is present in the midbrain only at the level of superior colliculus. The red nucleus is pale pink, which is believed to be due to the presence of iron in at least two different forms, hemoglobin and ferric. One can clearly observe that the fibers of the oculomotor nuclei are passing through the red nucleus. Finally, located in the mesencephalon below the interpedicular fossa is the interpedicular nucleus, which is unpaired.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, please send the videos.
చెప్పండి. Hello.
Sir, please send the videos.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, 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 sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.